Good evening, everybody. I'm Amanda Marie.
And Noah. And today we're going to be doing the first of a series of episodes that are actually going to be freaking amazing, I think, in my opinion. Today, we're going to be doing red flags. Um, the one concern, and we are going to first talk about our red flags, like our personal red flags. And like Amanda, if you disagree, like my red flag is not a red flag, I will tell you. And if you disagree, and if you don't agree that my red, if you know what I mean. Does it?
Gotcha.
Uh, so you're gonna get to know a little bit more about us, and then we're gonna be exploring red flags as a whole. Now, the only concern that I have with this episode that if any guy out there listens to this bit, they may I may never find a date ever again, and if I do, they just may really
I'm
fucked
gonna
up
just send
people.
them the link. I'm gonna just send them the link at the beginning of any dates you ever go on for this direct episode.
Hold up, fly high, but I never touch the sun. Stop, no way, I don't wanna find the one. You want that younger puppy love, you're dreaming. Told you I don't wanna catch no feelings. Give me love, fuck it up, get the gun, bang. Run it up to the top, give me your red flag. Give me love, fuck it up, get the gun, bang.
Okay, so do you want to go first with one of your red flags, Amanda? By the way, what are red flags? Red flags are like little signs, right? That tip you off at somebody's like personality or that you sometimes ignore because you really like the other person, right? That's what a red flag is.
Right. There's signs in the beginning that the person may not
Of
be a
course.
good fit for you. And red flags are different for everybody. One of my biggest red flags is also my ADHD superpower. um so what I mean by that is, I am going to tell you every single day for the rest of our lives and I'm going to cook tonight. And if you leave it to me, we're not going to eat until like 11 o'clock at night because I forget. And then I do something else. And then I walk by this and I do that. And I can't help it. Um, so if it has anything to do with like life necessities, like eating or like showering or things like that, I forget that they need to be done. That's one of my biggest red flags. So I'm good at complicated stuff, but I suck at anything to do with like the existence of living.
I mean, I don't know if I guess that could be a red flag as far as like annoying, like if you're dating someone
Well,
and
it makes me come off as a liar, but it's not that I'm lying. I just forget.
can I just say that my cat is never really around me except when we start recording? I feel like she wants to steal
Every
my
time we
spotlight.
start our podcast, all of a sudden your cat is in the room. I think
Yes.
they know. I think it's sabotage.
Yes, probably. That she may be one of my red flags. No, I mean, I can see how that can get annoying, like, in the long run, I guess if you're dating someone and it does come off like you may be a liar, like, "Bitch, you said you were gonna have dinner ready at 8." It's like midnight
Listen,
and
well,
we
but then
haven't eaten.
it's not just that either. It's like everything. It's like, "Oh, hey, did you remember to pick up the groceries from the grocery store?" And it's like, "We no." So it's
Mm,
everything. And if somebody always tells you they're going to do something and never remembers to do it, eventually you're just not going to rely on them. And so I guess my red flag is I'm unreliable when it comes to anything to do with existing as an adult.
okay. Um, I guess one of my red flags, kinda plays off on that as far as unreliability. Sorry, can't talk today. And you are a witness to this all the freaking time. I have no concept of time. Like, I
At
am
all.
late to everything, and I can prepare like myself. Okay, I know if you need to be here at 2:30, you need to start doing this by 2. You before you do that, you need to do this by 1. Like I'll prepare my in my mind, but for some reason, time just is. I just don't understand time, and it just kind of like gets away from me. And next thing I know, I'm like 10 minutes from having to leave the house, and I'm still in pajamas.
I,
Um,
that is also a sign of ADHD, guys. Maybe this is an ADHD episode and not a red flag episode.
oh, and I think the worst thing about this about me is that I'm always late. But you better not make me late. Like if for some cosmic reason I have managed to get my shit together on time to leave the house on time, and you are the one that's going to fuck up this one chance of mine to be on time, I'm a total bitch.
So I need to say this because I need you to understand this. That is every single person with ADHD.
Oh, really?
So yeah, sorry, I just said and like 7 times, guys. So that y'all are aware, I Noah recently found out she was ADHD. So she's learning a lot of things because like my other really big red flag is that I can't miss people. So, and I know that normal people can't grasp the neurodivergent brain, but if you're out of sight, you're out of mind to me. So, like, for instance, like I know is my best friend, y'all. Me and her talk daily. Okay. But me and her go through these like stints in our friendship, or we have, where like we won't talk for 7 months.
Mhm.
And then we'll call each other randomly, and then we'll talk every day again for the next 2 years, and then it'll happen again. And the reason we do that is because something happens that makes life really busy for a few days. And after that few days, the thought is no longer, oh, I just got off work. Let me call I know and see what she's doing. The thought is, okay, I just got off work. What else did I need to do? And
Yeah.
every day you just get caught up in that. And so people around you will be like I can give you kind of an example. I dated a guy, and I was working for a storage company at the time as a district manager. This was during like that 1,000-year flood in Charleston, South Carolina.
Mhm.
And so for like a week, I was stuck in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and I couldn't get back to my house. Well, during that time when I was dating this guy, I was staying at a hotel. I was working until 10 and 11 o'clock at night trying to, unflood units and fix sites and stuff like that. So I didn't really talk to that person for that entire week. In my mind, I was single. Um, because I mean, I'm not gonna say he tried to call, he texted multiple times, but I didn't have time to respond. And then at the point that I did respond, it was like 7 days later. And I was just like, hey, I'm no longer working. And he was like, you worked for 7 days straight. Well, that's what it felt like. I mean, I don't know. After work, I went and I ate food and I took a shower and I went to bed. And now we're single. But at no point in that time did I miss him. And to be honest, if he hadn't texted me that last day and said I give up, I probably would have never addressed the situation. Not because I try to be mean, but what some people may consider a red flag for other people, like we were just saying, could be a completely normal circumstance. I can't miss people. My sisters live in Charleston, South Carolina. I love my sisters. I love my nephews. I love my niece. I don't miss them, not because I don't love them, but because I have a whole life here that I have to deal with.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I'm the same way. Like, my mom was staying with me for like the longest, and she recently just went back to Spain. And I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't like miss her. Like, I know
Yeah,
deep
because you
down I
love
miss
her.
her and I love her, but like the day will go by, and I know my mom likes me when I call her every day. If not, she calls me. But if she wasn't to call me, like
You'd never
I
talk again.
forget. Yeah, like I forget, and it's not because I don't love her, I don't miss her. I just
Mhm.
it's just out of sight, out of mind. It's completely, and I think that's why you and I like we get along in that sense, because we can stop talking for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and you'll call me again, and I won't hold it against you because I
Because you
get it.
forgot that I hadn't called you for a year.
Yes.
And that's what it comes down to. Like I feel the same way. I feel like even now the time thing, so I'm the opposite ADHD of Inoa. I am early to everything. But I'm early to everything because I'm so afraid that I'm going to be late and I'm going to live up to the stigma that people with ADHD can never be on time, that it becomes like an obsession for me, kind of almost like an OCD for my brain.
Mhm.
So, but if that wasn't, and that was embedded in me from a kid, y'all. I had a dad that if you weren't 15 minutes early, then you were late.
Yeah.
So, my whole life, but I can tell you that I am surrounded with people that are always late.
Yeah, but I feel like in a relationship that can become like strenuous. Sorry, my cat is distracting the shit out of me.
I mean, my boyfriend's that person. That was one of my biggest red flags for him.
That he's always late. Yeah. Like for
Always.
instance, if I'm dating someone that is very OCD about being on time and I'm the one that's constantly late, I mean, that has to be really, really tiring for him. So, like the first few times that we go somewhere and I'm late, if he likes me so much that he overlooks it, you know what I mean? That may
You're
be
gonna be
fine for
screwed.
now. Exactly. But like 6 months, a year from us dating, he may get tired of it and it may cause like
Well, and
issues.
hopefully he watches this episode so that he knows that all he has to do is tell you that the time you got to be somewhere is always 30 minutes earlier, because that's what I do to my boyfriend. If we have to be at my mom's house for dinner at 4, then I tell him that we got to be there at 3:30, and we'll get there by 4
See,
because he
but the
doesn't
thing,
want to be extremely late.
true. The only problem with that is like if I catch on and I know that he's always telling me like it's 30 minutes, then I'm just gonna in my mind think, well, I have an extra 30 minutes and we're gonna be late either way. But I think that's
What
one
do
of
you
my
think?
biggest
Well, I want to ask you something, and only because now I'm kind of curious. What do you think a red flag for you would be that doesn't involve a neurodivergent characteristic?
Aren't all red flags somewhat no maybe hold on, no.
I
Um
mean, no, because not everybody's ADHD and everybody has some form of a red flag.
hmm true. Let me think.
Petty.
Is that a not I am. Okay, so I'm possessive and I try to pretend
Oh,
like I'm not. Especially at the beginning of dating someone, but I am a possessive person. Like if we're out dating and if we go out on a date and some girl comes up to you and like gives you like this big hug, like I'm gonna pretend like it doesn't bother me, but deep down inside of me, I'm gonna want to punch her. Actually, when me and my
okay.
soon to be ex-husband, um, the date that we officially became boyfriend and girlfriend, we were at the club and I was with some friends and he was there and he had some friends there too. But, we were out together and we were drinking and all of a sudden he leaves me and goes to talk to this other group of girls. And my friend there, I think it's her fault because she was like, hey, look, he's going to talk over there. She's a hoe. And you going to let him do that? And I was like, no, I'm not. So I walked into the club because we were outside in the terrace
The
area.
beginning of the end.
And I was like, who the fuck you think you're talking to? You're over here with me. And then he says I slapped him. I don't remember slapping him, but apparently I slapped him and walked away. And then he followed me out of the club and he was like, let's go home. And we got into the cab, came home. And before we walked in the door, he's like, so you think I'm your man then? I'm like, sure. Are you asking me officially? So that's how I mean, that should have been a sign that this was not meant to be. But But yeah, and I'm working on that. That's something that I'm working on, but I do recognize that I am possessive.
Okay. I actually can see that as your friend. Because I know it doesn't like any other friends that I ever have. Um
You should work on that. That's what you should work on, because I mean, if you chose better people, then maybe, but no, because then my other red flag would come about. If you chose better people, then I would be envious. I have a problem with envy. So then I would be like, what does that bitch have that I don't fucking have? Amanda's out there hanging out
it
with her.
ultimately sounds like you have a control issue.
I probably do. See,
So
this is what In Lieu of Murder is actually about. This is what it was
it really
originally about. It
is.
was like therapy.
Well,
Like,
and that's originally what we wanted to start. It wasn't always meant to just be true crime. It was meant to be like us talking so that we could get through things without murdering people in
mhm,
lieu of murder. Instead of murder, let's talk.
exactly. So yeah, apparently my red flag is that I have a control issue. Now back on to you. Any other red flags that you may have?
No, I'm perfect.
Bitch, please.
I guess my biggest red flag that's not like ADHD related would be I'm a workaholic.
Okay, so you're a
It might
workaholic.
not seem like a workaholic. I'm sorry. It might not seem like a workaholic. It might not seem like a red flag for some situations, but if you are the kind of person that wants a steady home life and stability at home, then I'm not the person for you to date. And it's not in a mean way whatsoever, but when I have things going on in my brain, in my head, with me myself medically, if I'm sad, I work more. So, I work my regular 40-hour week, 50 my regular 50-hour week. But then if I'm having like if I feel at all anxious or if I'm waiting on a test result to come in from the doctor or if I know is mad at me and won't take my phone call, which never happens, but let's just say that's what it was. I would clock back into work. I will sit down in front of my computer for hours and do things that I could do during my regular 9 to 5 that I didn't accomplish because that's who I am. Work has always been the only stable thing that I've ever had in life that someone couldn't take away from me with a blink of an eye.
Yeah, and it also allows you to avoid dealing with your emotions, because that's what it comes down to.
It might come down to. Um,
um, because that's what it is.
well, your control issue comes down to childhood trauma.
Your lack of wanting to deal with your emotions does too,
It
probably.
does, absolutely.
It's all our parents' fault. That's it.
Everything our parents' fault anyway. It's like, you think your kids aren't going to blame you for everything that's wrong with them when they're older?
Psh, they're already blaming me. And they're not even out of my house yet. Like,
I know, like, get some respect or a job or something.
but no, I'll tell you another one of my red flags is that I can't take shit seriously. And if we're in the middle of an argument about something serious, sometimes I do it out of like nervousness because I want to avoid conflict and I want to like instill some like comedic, relief. But a lot of times I'll do it to piss you off. Like if I know that it's gonna piss you off if I make a joke right now and you're pissing me off because you won't shut the fuck up and I'm tired of this fucking argument, then I will say something funny
So
and inappropriate.
you are 100% that way.
Yep.
1,000% that way. And this is coming from someone that has had multiple arguments with Inoa over the last 10 years.
Mhm.
Multiple. but she is always that way. But it just kind of reminded me when you said that I when I'm scared, like physically afraid of something,
Yeah.
I laugh. And it's a really bad trait to have and date the kind of people I used to date in my life because I dated very physically aggressive people. And
Yeah.
then they would get aggressive with me, and out of nervousness, I
And
would
you'd be like,
laugh. So people would be like, "Well, I don't understand why you would laugh at him when he's in your face telling you he's about to hit you." And I'm like, "I can't help it. I was afraid." Like, I don't know how other people deal with fear, but I giggle because, childhood trauma created dark humor in my brain. I don't know. I don't know why I do it. It's just what I do. So that has turned me into, it looks like I'm instigating something and I'm not. I don't want to fight you, but I'm also afraid. So
um I think we should do like a couple more because if not, it feels like we are sounding like really unstable individuals. And at this point, I really am sure that nobody's ever gonna date me, if they watch this episode. But I will say that I feel like I'm like the Michael Phelps of procrastination. Like if there were Olympics, I would 100% win for my fucking country. Okay, like the commentators would be like, well, it's day 10 and I know I still hasn't done any of the task ahead of her. Wait. It looks like she's going to start. Oh no. She's just Googling if ducks and goose can communicate with each other. Like,
so I don't know if this is a red flag, but when I'm frustrated sometimes I talk to my narrator. And okay.
I
For you
don't think that's a red flag.
neurodivergent people that don't have narrators, mine exists, okay?
I
Well, I
have
don't know if
one
it's a red
too.
flag either, but I do it out loud.
You,
So, to
I
the
mean, I
naked
do it.
eye, it looks like I just walk around and talk to myself. And I
Mhm.
do. I mean, essentially. But
No, I mean, I do it too, though. I don't think that's a red flag because, like, I think I told you about the time, like, when I sometimes I'll drive in my car and I won't have any music on because I'm too busy conversing, you know?
okay, well then good. It's not a red flag. So, I
I
guess
don't,
a different red flag I have I should never be sad because at the moment that I'm sad, the only thing that makes me happy is retail therapy, and I will drain a bank account in less than a day because somebody has hurt my feelings. And I won't give two shits. We all gonna be broke. We all gonna be miserable around here, but I'm gonna have a cute purse.
now that you speak of sadness, and I know I said one more and then we'll start on other people but I just realized something that I do. It makes me really uncomfortable when the person I'm with is sad and I can't control their emotions. Like I want them to be happy and I feel like it's my responsibility that they're happy and I don't understand why they're not happy around me. Like what did I do? How can I fix it? Why are
Mm.
you frowning? Like I feel like I don't allow people, like everybody goes through emotions, right? Like he might have a bad day at work and he comes home and he's upset and I'm like, wait, what can I do? How can I fix this? Why are you not happy now? Like it's a fucking problem and it's something I should work on myself with because not everybody's emotional state that it's dependent on me and I make it like it's dependent on me, but I feel like I only do that because I'm uncomfortable in the energy that person is like
The only reason you
putting
do
out.
that is because your emotional state depends on them.
Great, so now I'm codependent. Thanks, Dr. Amanda.
No problem. Glad I could help. All right, y'all have a great night. No, I'm just kidding. um,
Oh,
well, you know what? I got a question for you. What is a red flag? So she is openly, she already said at the beginning of this, working on an ex-husband. So, what is a red flag with him that you saw in the beginning and should have said, I'm walking away, but didn't?
Okay. So I think I got a glimpse at the narcissism in him. There was this one time where he was away, and where he was, it was hard for him to like deposit money to pay the rent. And mind you, we weren't living together at this point in time. Um, and so I was like, hey, if you want to, I can just go ahead, take money out of my account, pay it for you. And then when you come back, you can just pay me back. And he was like, okay, cool. Thank you. And so this happens. 3 months later, he comes back and he's going to be around for like a month or so. And then or 2 months, and then he's going to be leaving again. And, I don't like confrontation. So I figured when he comes back, he's going to bring it up and just give me the money. Right. Well, a week passes, 2 weeks passes, a month, 2 months, and he leaves again. And not during this time that he mentioned once, hey, let me pay you back. So I'm like, fuck, I want my money back. So my kid was going to have surgery for his tonsils, and we were going to do it privately. So, because we were in Spain, and you can go through like the Social Security, or you can go through like a private facility. So I was going to go through a private facility, and the surgery was, I think, like $1,500. So I was like, hey, I sent him a message, an email, and I was like, hey, my kid's surgery is about to come up, and it's, $1,500. Do you think I could have the $1,300 that I gave you, and that I let you borrow for rent? And he kind of like huffed and puffed. But he was like, fine, I'll have it to you as soon as I can, blah, blah, blah. It's just going to be kind of tight for me right now. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me know when you send it. And so he sends it. Then he comes back. At one point, we had an argument, and he threw in my face that he helped me with my son's surgery. And at that point, I was like, wait, you didn't though. Like, you paid me back my fucking money. Like, you didn't help me with shit. Like, that's just something that I had to make up so that you would give me. I mean, my kid did have the surgery, but I didn't need the $1,300 from him. I just wanted that as an excuse to get the $1,300 back, because I was like, I didn't want to create any conflict. But I feel like that was a major red flag that I overlooked when we were dating, that I should have probably told me, this man is foolish. He's gonna gaslight the fuck out of me. Yeah, but no, I said, it's not that red. Let's move on, continue. So that's one. How about you with your dear ex-husband?
Listen, that place was a fucking carnival, and that's all I could think. I saw all the red flags, and I was like, carnival, yay! So I guess I'm trying to think before our marriage, like just during the dating phase. I apologize for my phone in the background, y'all. Apparently, one of my neighbors is snowed in. All of us are snowed in, by the way, my entire mountain. So I don't know why my neighbor's acting like I don't know that she's snowed in too. So, anyways, well, I'll just share the freshest. I don't want to say freshest, but the red flag that should have made me run. Was a week after he got out of prison, and he hit me up. Honestly, that should have been what it was. As soon as he was like, "Hey, beautiful blue eyes," I should have been like, "Block." But I didn't. So my red flag after that is probably from the very beginning. He was very on off. So we started dating. I called Inoa like day 2 or 3 and was like, "I'm gonna marry this man."
You did.
Yep, I did. And she was like, "Hey, it's too soon to be like that." And I was like, "No, he's a writer. He does poetry. He can speak through my heart. Like, he is perfect." And I thought that he was the perfect person. Y'all, day 5, he broke up with me the first time. And it wasn't like a, "Hey, I don't want to date you because you're a horrible person." It was, "Hey, I think you're too nice of a person for me, so we shouldn't date."
I mean, he
Oh,
was right.
he was, and I should have listened to him.
But you
See,
didn't.
that's why no, of course I did. I convinced him that I was the best thing that ever happened to him, and he needed to stay with me because that's what I do, and I wish somebody would stop letting me do that. I don't. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, he was very wish-washy the first 8 months of our relationship, but when I tell y'all I had never been dumped so much in my life, it would be like a on again, off again, on again, off again, and then even when we were off, he would, "Well, why are you hanging out with this person?" or "Why are you doing that?" It don't matter, I'm single, right?
Mhm.
But I was never really single. Um, but that should have been my biggest red flag, if nothing else, that he wasn't stable.
Yeah.
What was your second red flag?
And this is not
That's
particularly related to my soon-to-be ex, but I feel like people that love bomb you, like when they're from the get-go super sweet and loving and they want to do everything with you. They want to talk to you 24/7 and they tell you all these beautiful things and they make you feel like you all are going to move in together like in next week. It's like when they're moving really 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 fast because I feel like that's a really big red flag because it doesn't last long. Like I feel like people like that do it for say a few weeks and then they pull back and after so much love you're like, "Oh wait, where did it go? What happened?" Right? And so you want it back, so you ask for that attention and they give you a little bit less. They do like I think we've talked about this before, the penny method, where they start with $1 and then they give you 95 cents but it feels like $1 and then they give you 85 cents but it still feels like $1. Um and I feel like that's like something that people that love bomb you do all the fucking time is
Absolutely.
yeah. So I think that's a huge fucking red flag. Um but I guess people like me or I get that have gone through things when we encounter someone like that and we love and we love the idea of finding our person or we somehow believe in coincidences. I feel like it's easy for us to be like to get trapped into that, which
Absolutely.
also something I'm working on. I think I've gone through that one too many times. I will never go through that again. If like you're not an asshole to me when we start dating, I'm not talking to you no more. Like I don't want to no. No,
I
you're being
keep
too nice.
trying to explain to Ina that the point in life that she finds the person she's actually supposed to be with, it's going to be so different that she's going to understand. And I only say that because I've been through the ringer with relationships. And my current partner, when I met my current partner, I didn't even think we were gonna work out. I didn't. Um, my brain said that he was just gonna be, a fling, and we were gonna part ways, and I was okay with that because I was walking away from a horrible marriage. Um, but it was so different with him because it wasn't hard, and there wasn't lies, and there wasn't. Once you're with someone, and I can't be like, oh, I'm not gonna sit here and say, hey, my partner is perfect. He's not. He is far. I done told y'all he is late to everything. Um, And he has no sense of urgency whatsoever as a human being. Like, if I'm like, "Hey, we have to leave the house in 2 minutes or I'm gonna lose my job," we are not gonna leave for 8 minutes. Because there's
Mm.
no sense of urgency, because nothing in life is that important for him to risk his health or his safety, and he's trying to teach me that, you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of what I mean by the person that's meant for you is going to be right for you. When it
Yeah.
comes to life in general, I have no patience. None. None. If I want it done, I want it done right this fucking second, and don't play with me. I don't know why I'm like that. It's just who I am. He is the exact opposite and the most patient person I've ever met, and I don't know how he does it, because I would have murdered every single person in my, well, in lieu of murder.
Here we
Um,
are. Yeah, no, I think it's
I guess,
important. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I think it's important for someone like me to find someone that is patient as well, because I feel like I am a very trying person. I can be deep down. And if I'm with someone that's not patient, um, yeah, it's probably going to lead to unnecessary arguments. But, there's another red flag that I think a lot of us overlook when we really like someone. And it's not so much as a red flag like that with their personality, with that gives you a glimpse into their personality, but I when two people are in different stages in life, like say I'm a mom, I have two kids, they're still in school, and say I meet somebody that's maybe 5 years younger than me and is into traveling everywhere and has a remote job, and they can be you kn- that's not gonna, even if we like each other a lot, our lifestyles are so far apart that
I actually have a theory on something similar to that too. Like, I don't think people from different tax brackets should date.
okay.
That
I
sounds like I'm
disagree.
being like a
If
fuck
there's
up.
a millionaire out there that would like to date me, listen.
No, and I don't want to say like at the current moment. I'm talking about like how you were raised.
Okay.
Like, it's really hard for me to date someone who was raised in a situation where a lot was given to them, or they had a lot of money, or they had a lot of opportunities in life, because I don't feel like they can understand the struggle at all in the drive that's within me. 'Cause they didn't have to struggle the same way that I had to struggle to get to the same place in life. So it's hard for me to have a conversation with someone and be like, I mean, you know what it's like when, when you got to save up to get your first car and da da da. And they're like, oh, yeah, my first car was a da da da. My dad got it for me for my 15th birthday. What? Your daddy bought you a car? Can your daddy buy me a car? What's your daddy's phone number? No, I'm just kidding.
I
Um,
mean, I don't know that I don't necessarily say I don't know that I agree with that.
I want to say this without, I don't want you to feel like I'm attacking you or sounding mean.
Okay.
I feel like you disagree because you come from a different tax bracket.
I mean, I'm definitely not in a different tax bracket right now, but I
No,
mean,
no, and
growing
I mean that like growing up, like, and I don't mean like your mom is a millionaire or nothing like
no,
that.
she's not.
But I mean, like, when it came to you, your mom would move mountains and sell China to Japan if it meant that I Noah was gonna be happy. Well, only so that she could use it against you later, I'm sure. But but it's one of those things where it's like, I grew up where I was told, from jump, get a
Mhm.
job. You gotta do this on your own. I can't, and it wasn't that they didn't wanna help, it's that they couldn't help. You know
I
what I
see.
mean? And I feel like though that's the only difference is, I don't wanna say I grew up in the hood, because I mean, I grew up in the projects or nothing, but I grew up in lower income neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and a lot lower income neighborhoods, and so the people that I was surrounded with, all of us went through those struggles together as people. Like, even growing up, we were made fun of at school because we didn't have the good clothes. All my stuff was bought at Walmart. I didn't have name brand shoes. I didn't, But my mom did what she could and we lived. I mean, I didn't die.
Yeah. No, I
Whereas people that haven't been through those things don't understand. It would be hard for me to date someone, and I'd love to. I mean, my boyfriend might be mad, but I'd love to date a millionaire once in my life.
yeah. I mean, I guess the reason I disagree with you is it is because of personal experience. But then again, even though my mom was like that with me, and she gave me everything I needed. You mentioned the car, and like my mom for my six, and I had a job. Like I worked customer service at an insurance company, through when I was in high school. But when my first car was like a brand new Honda Civic, that she went and bought for me because she wanted me to be safe on the road. But um
My first car broke down on the third day. The muffler fell off the back of it, y'all.
but then again, like I feel like I that's why I don't agree with it, because I have gone through that. But then again, I have gone through similar shit that you have, like for instance, that you have gone through, like when my mom got mad at me because I moved out of the house into a new house with my boyfriend.
See, and
Uh
I don't
since
understand those feelings.
since the car was in her name, she took it away. So now we had just moved into a brand new house
And
and
had
we
no
had
car.
no car. He had no car. I had no car. He lost his job because his mom could no longer give him rides. I had to like pinch pennies together to go walk to Piggy Wiggly to get some beans and rice and shit like that, because I was too like proud to go back to my mom and be like, please, mother, you know, can you please give me my car back? Um, so I feel like I have, out of pride, I have gone through situations that I probably should have
Well, and I
avoided.
also feel like you're not I feel like this is gonna sound so mean, and I'm sorry. I feel like you dated down a lot of your life.
I have always dated down, yes.
And because of that, you're the kind of person like that's I think also why we're so close for friends because you were never the person to be like, what do you mean your mom didn't buy you a car, Amanda? You know what I mean? Like you never look at people like that. You're
No,
a very humble person in general. And so with that being said, you always kind of dated down because I think a part of you felt sorry for the dudes. Oh, let me take care of this one.
yeah.
This little,
Red Flag.
little
One of my favorite movies growing up was Dangerous Minds.
I thought you were gonna say Aladdin.
No, Dangerous Minds and Dirty Dancing. Okay, so that's a red flag, I feel like, because that's
So what does that say about me? My favorite movie growing up was Drop Dead Fred.
I've never seen that movie, but I feel like I shouldn't be worried.
It's a movie about an imaginary friend.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So, but all right. So let me ask you this cuz now we're, in our late 20s. Um and
I've been
as
20 for
a
the last 18 years.
29-year-old, I have grown, you know.
Mhm.
What is your be all? I have multiple red flags that will make me question whether I should speak to someone again. You know what I mean? Like there's a list. And when I say a list, I mean like the size of I was about to say the size of Jupiter, but Jupiter's small.
No, Jupiter's really big.
Oh, is that then the size of Jupiter?
Of Uranus. Just kidding.
The size of her anus, okay? So, um but as an adult now, what is that immediate hell no red flag for you?
This is going to sound really, really petty. And I'm not a snob or a professor of literature. But if they can't type properly, and I don't mean like if they misspell a lot of words or misuse a lot of words, um It's very annoying, and I am sorry, but it gives like an insight into their IQ,
I
and
know we're gonna have people reading books on the first date.
no, I'm serious. Like I've always, I think I am so intrigued by intelligence, and when there's somebody that doesn't know the difference from where and you know I know English is complicated, like there's silent letters, letters that are for your mouth, not for your mouth, only for like the paper. um English can be hard, but if you've been doing it since you were a baby, I feel like you should have a better grasp on it. And again, I don't mean to sound like a snob, but if you can't hold a conversation, an intelligent conversation, and if you're texting me and you sound like a 3-year-old, then I can't, I just can't. I'm sorry. It's such a petty little thing, but I can't.
It's not petty. I mean, because there's a be all end all for everybody. I mean, I don't think that's petty. Because and let me say this. I know you're a pretty intelligent person.
I like to think so.
I said pretty.
Pretty and intelligent. Yes, I got it.
You clearly have an active listening problem. No, I'm just kidding. But you are a pretty intelligent person, so I can understand why maybe not even lack of intelligence, but lack of regard for what you're doing would bother you, because English is your second language.
Mm-hmm.
If you can speak it or type it better than the person you're dealing with, that could be an issue. Not because they're either because they don't have the common sense to double check what they say, or because they don't have the intelligence level to attempt to learn the English language on some kind of adult level.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it for you.
And I don't mean like stupid shit, like when, there's instead of fucks is ducks, and or you miss
Right,
a letter.
autocorrect.
Yeah, or you miss a letter in front, like somewhere in a word. Like if it's just one word or two words. But I'm saying if during a conversation you speak like you're still in elementary school, I can't
Listen,
do
y'all,
it.
my autocorrect be killing me though. I don't know if everybody's phone does that to them, but I tried to I had a rough weekend, and somebody like texted me on Monday to just kind of check on me or whatever. And I tried to text back, I appreciate you, like just I appreciate you checking on me. So then they sent back laugh out loud. So I went to go look at what I said to them, and I said, I aircraft you. I have no idea why my phone changed appreciate to aircraft. Um, but it did.
I
But
have
it's
a
autocorrect, y'all. I don't know.
I have a dirty secret to say. Um, so sometimes I will notice that autocorrect changed my word to a
Don't
word that
fix
makes the sentence funny, and I won't fix it because if it makes me laugh, I guess it's gonna make the other person laugh too. So I just leave it.
Man, I remember one time my boss at my old job, she had tried to text me, like she does text to talk, but she was real country.
Yeah.
And she sent me a text, and it's supposed to say hope you have a good day, but it says hope you die. And I was like, I text back and I was like, what? And she was like, what? Because when you talk to text in your car, you can't see what the last message was.
Yeah.
So she didn't know until the following day when she called me, and I was just like, "Okay, well," she was like, "All right, I'll talk to you later." I was like, "Okay, hope you die." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "That's what you said to me. I thought it's just what we say to each other now."
Oh god. That's funny. That's really
Um,
funny. But any how about you? Any like red flags that you're like, okay, no. This can't.
Listen, I got a red flag and I got a story for y'all.
Okay.
I don't know if I've ever told this story before, but
Is it the guy with the grandma?
yes.
I think you have. but go ahead.
Okay, then never mind. Y'all go find the story of the guy with the grandma. It's on one of our other podcasts. Go find it. Go watch them. All right, I'm not telling the story. It's a really good one though, y'all. Y'all should watch it because yeah, red flags, man. Anyways, for me, I guess my adult, I will not deal with this person is there's two things. If you disappear, if you have an overnight where we have not made contact and you have not said goodnight to me and you disappear and I cannot get a hold of you, we're done. The relationship is over. Do not call me. I don't care if you went to jail. I don't care if you died. It's done. Done. I don't care. There's no excuse for it because it takes 3 seconds to text someone and say, hey, I'm busy. I'll call you in the morning.
Yep.
My second be all end all, we're not going to do this. Would be, sorry, my brain forgot for a second. Give me 1 second. That it makes me think slower. So my other one as an adult, in my personal opinion, would be honestly just the lack of regard for someone's self-esteem. Like if you talk shit about your ex to me and degrade her in a way like, oh, she was nothing but a hoe, I'm not going to deal with you because that's not an adult thing to say. That's childish. You're putting down some woman, and that woman could be somebody's mom or somebody else's husband, somebody else's wife.
I mean, she could be somebody else's husband.
Absolutely could be somebody else's husband. So that is my opinion on red flags. Anything else to add, Inoa?
I think we maybe do a part 2 some other time. There's so many out there.
Part 2, we look at everybody else's red flags out there.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Till next time.
Like and
Goodbye.
subscribe.
So grab a seat and join the fun. In lieu of murder, we're number one.